Well, Lara's back, and once again she brings her bow in the third installment of the rebooted Tomb Raider series. Does Shadow of the Tomb Raider bring a new light to the series, or is it a shadow of its former past? And for us toxophiles, is archery still cool? As with the previous two Tomb Raider games, Lara has to do everything from the beginning. Her journey to Peru comes crashing down to earth, and she's left with a trusty recurve bow. In fact, the bow is the most prominent weapon, with segments of the game locking Lara into fighting in traditional style, with the bow as a primary weapon, though of course she has access to her usual arsenal in other segments. In what is definitely a cornerstone of the series, Lara has to use a bow to hunt animals for resources and defend against hostile predators. Doing this in the South American rainforest adds an exotic edge, and it really feels like you're fighting for survival. Once you encounter the hired guns, the bow becomes your go-to weapon for stealth, important as your suppressor options for guns are harder and more expensive to come by. Several unlockable abilities give you familiar skills, shoot arrows in rapid succession, and the overpowered multi-headshot skill that can instantaneously take out up to 3 enemies. Though in this installment, the less frequent combat sequences and slower shooting speeds tone down Lara's archery prowess. Initially, the bow's silent range kills kind of make the whole stealth mechanics redundant, but in later sections, enemies have more armor and health, making them more difficult to take down and triggering an active fight. As mentioned earlier, the flow of combat feels different. Enemies are more inclined to get up close and personal, forcing you to take evasive action. The bow feels slower, and with the auto headshot skill requiring you to be zoomed in, it's more awkward to fiddle around with, forcing you to take faster body shots or switch to alternative weapons. I actually didn't mind this, as it does balance out other items, though this is the first time in the series where I felt that it was genuinely easier to pull out your assault rifle. Shadow offers the largest selection of bows yet. While previous games went with the recurve and compound balance, Lara can obtain numerous recurve bows through missions and merchants. Weapons are more distinctly specialized in damage and speed, giving players more flexibility in how they want to approach combat. Upgrades are back too. By gathering resources, Lara can improve the stats of each weapon. Honestly, these traditional bows look really nice. I'd collect these in real life if they were made. As far as tools and function go, things seemed toned down. Lara has the usual ability to make zip lines and use rope arrows to solve puzzles, though few areas require creative use of the bow to progress, which is a bit disappointing. That's actually it for environmental interaction.
This looks promising.
Lara has 3 specialized arrows. Fire arrows return, though there's really no point in the game when you want to use it apart from burning the occasional barrier. Poison arrows have been upgraded to lure arrows. The target is dispatched and nearby enemies are drawn in by the obnoxious beeper, causing the arrow to detonate its poison cloud, making this a very useful option for stealth sections, since you can defeat armored enemies with little effort. The newest tool is the Fear Arrow, which causes the target to shoot at other enemies. This is my favorite arrow to use, not just because it's useful in neutralizing patrols, but because it's funny to watch. Lara also gains the ability to use arrows to hang enemies from trees, which really adds to the predator edge that the game portrays Lara to be. With a wide range of abilities and tools, Lara has all she needs to survive in this jungle paradise. Except normally I don't go into detail about reviewing the game itself and focus instead on the archery specific elements, but there are a few things about Shadow that flatten the experience. The focus has clearly shifted to exploration and, well, tomb raiding. This also means much less emphasis on combat, and the stealth sequences are paced out, but perhaps a bit too much. One of the common complaints is that the game doesn't feature much combat, and with that in mind, the bows don't really feel that useful. Craft a few arrows and the stealth sections are too easy, but the pacing also means you forget that you can use the tools you have. The tree hanging ability seems useful, but it's the last thing you think of, since you can usually snipe the lone sentry from the ground or use a special arrow. Combat is clumsier with more melee focused fighters, so your bow isn't very useful and you end up scurrying away until you unlock the dodge kill ability, which we've learned twice already in previous games. Ironically, despite the traditional setting, it's almost always better to use firearms, even if you have to go loud. Again, the claustrophobic environments and in-your-face arrow sponges don't feel rewarding to play. This isn't to say that Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a bad game. It's very appealing and many fans will like the new setting, though I personally didn't enjoy the exploration focus and pacing as much. The Archer side of me didn't really enjoy this particular installment compared to the previous two games. Despite a rainforest being an ideal environment for a rogue archer, Shadow doesn't quite hit the mark. Anyway, this is NUSensei. As usual, shoot straight and aim for your best.